Have you ever been blown away by a piece of art? Okay, maybe not that kind of blown away, but maybe you've looked at something that you've never seen before and you don't even really know what you're looking at. Well, that's what people tell me when they come into my booth at art shows when they're looking at my artwork. So in today's video, I want to share with you a little bit about my artwork, show you what my process is, and tell you the drastic decision I've had to make in order to meet the demand of my collectors. So a little bit of background, I work with a medium called Encaustic Medium, and that is a blend of beeswax and resin. So these are some pellets that I get from the art supply. It's purified beeswax mixed with a tree resin, and I melt it down on a griddle behind me to get a liquefied form. Using this medium, I actually combine it with dried flowers and botanicals to create my style, which I call encaustic botanical collage. So I collect specimens in the summertime, and I'll blend these into different scenes, like a scenic mountain scene or something a little bit more whimsical. But I use these encaustic mediums on a wood plank, and I'll create compositions that way. So it's really fun. It's kind of like nature's Mod Podge, all natural materials, and people seem to really resonate with the fact that it's all natural. You're getting the real specimen. Flowers are naturally beautiful anyway, and they just really like how it all comes together, especially with that wood background. I mean, sometimes I use really rustic pieces of wood, and that makes it feel even more earthy, and more people have really found it to be something that they like. I think the other reason why people like it is that it's not very common. You don't really see encaustic done this way very often. I would say that's where my style is. I'm doing wildflowers of Colorado and a lot of native plants that I forage on my own homestead. Because I'm using flowers from my homestead, I have a very short window to collect those flowers. I live at 9,000 feet in the Rocky Mountains, and we have a very short summer, and every week there's a new flower in bloom. And then every couple of weeks, those flowers are completely gone. So I have like a really short window where I'm hustling all summer to collect flowers and press them and preserve them for using them later, usually in the winter months. So the past couple of years have been amazing. It's been a whirlwind. The very first year, I wasn't sure how people were going to receive my brand new artwork. I was just putting it out there for the first time. In fact, I was making jewelry at the time, and I thought, well, I'm kind of interested in doing this artwork. Let's see if people might buy a piece or two. And every time I put a piece out at a show, it got sold. And so it was a little bit of an encouragement, a little bit of a validation to keep going in a direction that I was super interested in. It made me really excited and happy to collect the flowers and arrange the compositions. So I just wanted to keep going with it. This past year has marked several firsts. It's been amazing. I have been applying to art shows that I didn't think I would be able to get into, some very high quality fine art shows. And to my surprise, this year in Winter Park, Colorado, I won Best of Show for mixed media. I mean, I was completely blown away. I didn't even expect that, but the other people are telling me they really like my artwork. Even though I would continue to do it anyway, just one more reason to keep going, and why not just build it as a business? So another first, this past summer, I taught my very first class. People were delighted to collect flowers at my homestead, and then we did art class outside. And yet another first in the past year was my first art studio tour, where people got to come up to the mountains during foliage season, come and tour my home studio, look at pieces, watch me create in the process. So this has kind of taken on a life of its own, and I felt like I needed to do something to scale even more. And that's when I made the drastic decision of building a $50,000 greenhouse. It seems like a little excessive, but the reason I wanted to go extreme like this is because, one, we live in a climate which is very harsh, and I felt like we needed to have a very sturdy, dependable greenhouse that wasn't going to get damaged by the weather. So we had to meet county requirements for the greenhouse, including high wind and heavy snow loads. And so we went with a company, Growing Spaces, which produces dome-style greenhouses. And I was delighted to get a tour of several of their greenhouses last year to kind of see which size felt right. And although, the 26-foot dome felt pretty good, My husband and I decided that we probably would be better off going with even larger size on our property, the 33-foot dome, because I'm thinking in addition to just growing flowers in the dome, we might be able to grow some vegetables and some food. And we'll also have space for hanging out and hosting classes and just establishing a little bit of more of a community. So in order to achieve that, we had to go an extra step, and that was to make it year round. We ended up digging a pretty deep foundation so we can put in underground air ducts, and that would help keep the temperature more stable year round. So we could keep the greenhouse going through the winter, maybe a little supplemental heating if possible, but then keeping it cooler in the summer so we could host classes and have get-togethers. We got the process started this summer, although we're not yet complete. I'll show you, we're pretty far along. We've got the structure built, the foundation and all the groundwork and the excavating is all done. Now we're waiting for warmer weather so we can do the polycarbonate panel process, which requires taping, which requires 50-degree weather. But my vision for the greenhouse isn't just business. It's actually to create an oasis, like a backyard oasis in the middle of winter, in those in-between seasons where it's still pretty gray outside, there's no greenery yet, and be surrounded by lush green botanicals and food, and even a fish pond with koi in it, and have some extra space for doing things like yoga or meditation. Just having a special area, like a she shed for me, for my friends, for anyone really that wants to come and sort of get connected to nature, get inspired. It's great for mental health, it's great for physical health, and it just is very exciting right now. Basically, my adventure from creating botanical encaustic artwork has led me all the way to this point of building this big greenhouse. I can't wait to see it come to life, and I can't wait to see how it all comes out. So if this sounds exciting to you guys, I hope that you'll subscribe and follow along. And I'm still trying to think of names, creative, fun names like Ecodome or something I could name it, or even a couple of ideas of what sort of plants I can put in there. I mean, I have a lot of ideas already. I'm going to make some more videos about some of my design ideas and what I want to put in there. But I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you think I should put in there for plants or flowers? And what names do you have, if any? Any suggestions of what I might call my special greenhouse dome oasis? So leave a comment below, and I'll catch you in the next video where I lay out some of my design ideas for the greenhouse.